Next up, we have the God of Artemisium. And I say God because there's quite a lot of debate as to which god this shows, either Zeus or Poseidon. And it would depend on what he was holding originally, either that thunderbolt or trident in that back arm. But this statue was found in a shipwreck off the coast of Artemisium, hence the name. And therefore, unfortunately, we don't know. But I'm going to show you an example of a statuette of Zeus from Dodona, a votive offering, which might help answer this for us. But this statue has a date of 460 to 450 BC, and it's another good example of how bronze has been used to great effect when it comes to the pose of the statue. So he's in an action pose, and what we call dynamic equilibrium, which is where you can see the fact that he's got a balance of opposites in his limbs. So we have got here a straight arm, and it's balanced on the other side by a straight leg. And on the other side, we've got a bent leg balanced by a bent arm, which makes it very interesting to look at from that side position. Now, talking about positions to view this statue from, depending on where the viewer is standing, your interaction changes. So where we're at now, you are just a spectator. But if you stand in front of this statue and he's looking at you, the severe look on his face evokes fear, but you also become the victim because either that thunderbolt or that trident is now being aimed at you. Despite the very interesting pose, however, the body is not yet responding appropriately to the pose, so it really should twist more to the side than it is doing. But of course, that might just be so that we are forced to look at that torso, which is incredibly defined. So the early classical period has very exaggerated muscles, but with that heavy iliac crest, the line running down there into the groin, but also the cuirass aesthetique on the actual abdominal region. So it's so defined, it looks like a bronze cuirass or breastplate in battle. That's all very, very typical of what a powerful god. So it could be that we've got that torso facing us to force us to look at that. And, in terms of other parts of this statue that reinforce his divinity, we've also got the very, very long elongated arms, which give the statue a sense of elegance, but also remind us that he does not follow human proportions. Whilst we're talking about the god of Artemisium, here's one of those little statuettes of Zeus from Dodona that I mentioned before. So obviously for Greek religion, second years, you can use this as an example of a votive offering left at the site of Dodona. But for an artistic purpose, he's in a very similar position to the god of Artemisium. You can also see the dynamic equilibrium, that balance of opposites in the arms and legs, the fact that the torso doesn't twist as well. But very firmly, we can see in his hand a thunderbolt, not a trident. So some people put forward these statuettes as a way of identifying our god of Artemisium firmly as Zeus.